Toby, you crazy. Toby, you crazy. Toby, you crazy. Toby, you crazy. Bougiewild, 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 Bougiewild. I said the universe gave it to me. I said the universe gave it to me. Bougiewild, 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 Bougiewild. I said the universe gave it to me. I said the universe gave it to me. Bougiewild can't be boxed. I'm free to be me. I'm living life, creating legacy. I'm living my dream. They call me extra. They say I'm doing too much. I'm just bougie wild. Cause I'm classy with some style. Bougie wild, 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 bougie wild. I said the universe gave it to me. I said the universe gave it to me. Bougie wild, 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 bougie wild. I said the universe gave it to me. I said the universe gave it to me. I'm rocking my own label. I'm wearing my own brand. See, y'all don't understand that this shit was never planned. Some call me bougie, some call me wild. The funny thing is, it's just my personality and style. I said the universe gave it to me. I said the universe gave it to me. Bougie wild, 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 bougie wild. I said the universe gave it to me. I said the universe. Hello, you guys. This is your girl Bougiewild, and I'm coming to you live with another episode of Transparent Table Talk. Transparent Table Talk is a place where people are willing to speak about their personal life from a humble, transparent, and vulnerable place. The purpose of this show is to bring awareness to topics society does not discuss that have people suffering in silence due to shame or blame. The vision is to create a place for people to have conversations without fear of judgment. And the reason is because I'm having conversations that I wish someone would have had with me. The goal is to inspire and empower people to make a choice to live a happy life. Because our mission is to heal this hurt world by showing them that we all go through the same things and that we have a choice to be reborn and live in the spirit. You guys, we have another great guest that has joined us to talk about their personal life. And let's introduce our guest. We have Rebecca Williamson. She is the owner of Cambre House and Farm, a haunted wedding venue outside Nauvoo, Illinois. She has been interested in the paranormal her entire life and has nearly 20 years of experience doing paranormal investigations. Rebecca bought the Cambre house from her grandparents' estate in 2016 and hosts weddings and paranormal investigations there. Let's introduce Rebecca Williamson to Transparent Table Talk. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi.
Wow. Wow. So, our guests choose the name of our episode. So, Rebecca, I'm going to allow you to introduce the name of tonight's episode on Transparent Table Talk.
So we're going to talk about the haunted Cambre house.
Wow.
And then kind of my journey to
Awesome. So, Rebecca, let's get into it. What brought you to Transparent Tabletop? Okay, you guys, we are experiencing technical difficulties. Let's allow it. Are we there?
I was going to say there was a lag there.
Yes. So, yes, what brought you to Transparent Tabletop?
Well, I just kind of wanted to share my story of how I became the owner of a haunted wedding venue. It's kind of a different story. It was a long road, and yeah. So we'll get right into it.
Yes. So we're
my
listening.
grandparents.
So I'm listening.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like we're
my
on
grandparents bought the farm in
reason. But y'all know technical difficulties happen, and we're gonna move right along, and we're gonna make sure we capture this conversation on Transparent Tabletop. So tell us about how you became the owner of a haunted wedding house.
Sure. My grandparents bought the farm in 1979. With the intention of preserving the property out there. It's a historic home that was built in the 1860s. And my grandparents just loved the home out there. And so they bought it with the intention of preserving it, not meaning to ever live in it. So they lived close by and they spent a lot of time out there. We did like family activities. I had cousins that got married out there and craft shows and all kinds, just, big fun family events were outside at the farm. Mm-hmm. And then in 2015, my grandmother passed away.
We are experiencing some technical difficulties. It's like it is freezing tonight.
And there, we're back.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we're experiencing some internet issues. It seems like you're freezing a lot. So let's
get
into it.
Yeah, you're freezing on me too. So I don't know if it's on my end or your end. But anyway, yeah, after they passed away, they were selling the farm. And mm-hmm. So then I had to figure out, like, I didn't want to lose anything else that year. And so I bought the farm and then had to try and decide, like, what am I going to do with this thing? Because I didn't really have a plan when I bought the farm. I just mm-hmm. bought it because I didn't want to lose it. Right. And then I had to say, okay, well, how am I going to support a home that I'm not going to live in? Because everything there is like original to the 1860s. And so it's not really a home that I felt comfortable moving into with a kids and dog family, a little uncomfortable that way. And so then I said, well, okay, if I've had a few weddings out there, I'd had a few cousins that got married, then surely I could do a few more weddings, right? And so I opened it up as a wedding venue. That was kind of the original wedding venue. Mm-hmm. And so weddings are a very long game. Like the bride, the very first thing she does is book her venue. And weddings are usually planned like a year or two out. So I went 2 years owning a wedding venue, not having a wedding.
Wow.
Just because they plan it so far out. And then my wedding venue are off the beaten path. It's this cute little house out in the woods in the middle of nowhere. And it's beautiful. It's very picturesque, but it's not something that you're ever going to find by driving by it. Usually you can't even find it if you want to do. It just is so far off the beaten path. So yeah. So I went through this thing of, trying to learn how to run a business because that was not something I'd done before. I went through a lot of small business classes and stuff to learn how to run a business and
Mhm.
learn how to market my business.
Mhm.
Marketing is super important when people aren't going to drive by and find you. And
Mhm.
then too, I had to, try and figure out how to make this successful. And round about that point, I found out that it was haunted. Um, I spent some time out there. We started hearing footsteps, and when you're out there by yourself,
Mhm.
you realize it's not the other person, that you thought it was. When you're out there with a big group of people, you can kind of fool yourself into thinking that the footsteps and the voices you're hearing are somebody else, and you just didn't know they were there. But when you're out there by yourself and hearing footsteps and voices, then it's something
Right.
paranormal.
Right.
um, so when we realized what was going on, I have friends who are in the paranormal stuff. And so I contacted them, and they came out, they did a paranormal investigation, and then we decided to go do ghost tours.
Right.
So when we started doing ghost tours, really profitable, very successful to have the ghost tours. It was something that I wasn't expecting to go over really well, but it actually did. And in fact, my wedding venue is actually being paid for by ghost tour stuff. So
Wow.
it was kind of, I had a lot of people telling me that I couldn't do that. I would never have a wedding if I started doing haunted stuff out there. Once people found out I was haunted, that I'd never have any other stuff. And in fact, I found out the opposite was true. When I stuck to my guns, I found out that people came out for the ghost tours and then fell in love with the place, and then would later come and book a wedding. My first weddings were from people who came out on ghost tours and fell in love with the farm.
Right.
So yeah, I had a
So
lot of.
what did you struggle with personally when you were being told that, hey, if you do these ghost tours, you're not going to, I mean, did you struggle with that and
I
doubt
did.
yourself?
I had a lot of doubts because, like I said, I had so many people telling me, my mom and like friends, they were all telling me, oh, you can never make that successful. That will never work. You're going to scare off your brides. You're going to scare off your clients. But like, I'm glad that I had business advisors because my business advisors said, well, look at what's making you money,
Mm-hmm.
and ghost tours were making money. Um, and they're like, for a long time, I kept the two things separate. I kept weddings completely separate from the ghost stuff because I was being told all this stuff, like about how it was never going to work and I was going to scare people away.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really kept like all my marketing separate, made sure that the brides didn't know it was haunted and didn't really tell the haunted people about the wedding stuff. And it was like I was running two separate businesses. And finally I had like a business coach sit me down and say, you're spreading yourself too thin. You're cutting yourself short. By downplaying one side of your business, you're downplaying your business.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like this light bulb went off and it was like, yeah, you're right. So I went through and I rebranded everything. And so now it's a haunted wedding venue. I combined my marketing. I still kind of have the two sides of it that I'm trying to reach,
Mm-hmm.
the brides, and the ghosts. But like I said, I found that people that come out to get married at the farm have heard about because of the ghosts. And
Right.
then people that come for a wedding then find out that I do ghost tours, and then they'll come back for the ghost tour. And so by fully embracing both sides of my business, it's been usually successful. Just not listening to my friends and family who don't own a business.
Right.
And listening to, actually listening to the business coaches and small business development. I worked really a lot with the small business development to get my business going. And yeah.
So what advice would you like to share with the audience from a humble, transparent, and vulnerable place of what you went through with having the Cambre house and just shifting into that you would like to share with the audience.
Be careful who you're listening to. And I know it's not just me that has all these friends and family telling you how to run your business, but those people aren't always coming. They don't see how to run a business. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They don't understand your business as well as you do. You know, the outside looking in is an entirely different perspective. And I mean, on one hand, it's good to get opinions, but on the other hand, it's better to listen to like a business coach or something like that. Somebody who knows business, who knows what they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, once I finally like actually listened to, you know, the people who knew what they were talking about,
Right.
you know, that's when I started booking all the weddings. And you know, I've got like 10 weddings this year. In my
Wow.
I'm an outside wedding venue, so I only have like May through October to do weddings.
Right.
So I've got, you know, like 2-3 weddings every month, and it's amazing.
Right. Right. Just following your spirit in you to say, hey, this is something that I can capitalize off of, and being in tune with who you are, and just actually, you know, feeling that desire to even purchase the property, being that it was a family property, and seeing that opportunity that, hey, I want to keep this in. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it yet, but I allowed it. It seemed like it just happened for you, what was intended to happen. So, you
Yeah.
know, so on the journey, when you were listening to people, what was that aha moment that made you realize, you know what, I don't need to be listening to them?
It was when that business coach said, because I kept telling her, I'm like, you know, when I talk to my brides, I downplay my ghosts. And when I talk to my ghost people, I kind of downplay the wedding side of it. And she just sat there and she said, when you're downplaying your business to somebody, you're downplaying your business.
Right.
And it was just like the light bulb went off. And it's like, she's so right. You know, like by downplaying the ghost stuff to my brides, then you know, I'm downplaying my ghost. I'm downplaying my own business.
Right. Right.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and just
So
it was
what's
one
your
of those.
pitch now? So how do you market it now, Rebecca?
I'm a haunted wedding venue. I mean,
Wow.
and you know what? By marketing it as a haunted wedding venue, that makes people stop, and they're like, "You're what?"
Right. This is different.
Yeah, it's different. It's different, and people are interested in hearing my story. And just that one little bit, I'm a haunted wedding venue. People are like, "You're what?"
Right. Right. So do they
Yeah.
have it all day for the weekend? So how do they rent it? Like,
It depends on what they're booking it for. So if they're booking it for the ghost stuff, they'll book an overnight. And so they'll just basically spend the night in the house, look for ghosts.
wow.
And then if they're booking it for a wedding, I really push a weekend package. So they'll have it Friday evening through Sunday at noon. And I try to give my brides kind of like a laid back wedding weekend experience, because that way they can come out Friday, they can do the rehearsal, they can have all day Saturday to set up for their wedding, and then they can have the wedding Saturday, and then Sunday they can kind of take their time cleaning up and getting ready to go home and stuff. And they can stay in the house, they can sleep on property. And so that it just kind of makes it so, you know, a lot of the venues, you have like a really tight window and they're rushing in and rushing out and, you know, hurrying to try to get stuff set up. And I don't think you can really get to enjoy it when you're like that. You know, I want them to come in and have a weekend where they can relax with their family and friends and then really enjoy their wedding. So that's kind of
have
my
you heard stories from the people that rent it?
Yeah, a few. The brides don't always get very many stories, but I do have a few stories from brides where where they've heard footsteps and stuff like that. I have issues with locks. My ghosts lock doors a lot, and one of the weddings, the lock fell apart. A brand new lock somehow or another completely fell apart. I don't know what they were doing to irritate my ghosts, but they must have been doing something.
Wow. So have you researched the history of the house? Like, was there something tragic happened there, or
no? It's not a tragic place. It's a happy home that they just chose not to leave. It was. I have a lot of the history. My grandparents did a lot of research into the history of the home. They had it put on the National Register of Historic Places. So the Cambre family came over from France in the 1850s and built this house. And the Cambre family lived in it until 1979 when my grandparents bought it. So It was just a happy, well-loved home. And like I said, they just chose to stay after they passed away because they loved it there so much.
So tell me about the house. How many bedrooms and stuff is the house, Rebecca?
It's 3 bedrooms. So it's situated on a bluff that overlooks the Mississippi River, and it's got really large lawns. So there's a huge lawn behind the house and a big lawn in front of the house. So it works really well for weddings because you can have the reception and the ceremony in 2 separate spots. And it just, it's a beautiful property, completely surrounded by trees out in the country.
Wow. So if you could have a conversation with anyone that was getting ready to embark upon your journey and step into a business that didn't know anything about business, what advice would you give them?
Trust yourself, and make sure you get good business advisors, like actual business advisors.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think that's an admirable thing you did to keep that the Cambre house in your family after grandparents passing, and to trust your instinct to purchase this, because this is something that will be profitable. Not only is it memorable as well as treasurable for you, but it's also profitable, and I'm happy to hear that. That's awesome. If you would tell people, how would they find the haunted Cambre house?
So I'm pretty much Cambre house everywhere you go. So Cambre, cambrehouse.com. And then it's Cambre _house on Instagram, Cambre house on Facebook, and I'm on TikTok too as Cambre house. So
do you share things on TikTok and Facebook of the experiences of people telling about?
I do. I tell, like, TikTok is kind of a mix of, telling the history of the home and the family, and then and then to me telling ghost stories. Yeah. And then every once in a while I catch something funny on, or some paranormal activity on video, and I'll post that on TikTok too. And then on Facebook I share, gorgeous pictures of the home, and some of the stuff I post on TikTok I put on the Facebook too. So
awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story with us on Transparent Table Talk. I appreciate you and your time. And
thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And I don't know what was up with all the tech issues, but when you're talking ghosts, it kind of happens. So.
Yeah, it's something. It's weird, isn't it? Well, thank you so much, Rebecca, and you enjoy your beautiful evening.
All right, you too. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. I'm free to be me, it's what you see in my energy. I'm real with myself, I don't conform to society. I'm free to be me, it's the only way for me to stay true to my identity. I'm free to be me, I'm a person of integrity, something that's not recognized in society. I'm free to be me, it's the only way for me. It's the key to my serenity, you form the social norm.